everyone. I am Rachel, and I love Star Wars. And all I want to do is talk about it all the time. Am I a little obsessed? Yeah, I am. I'll admit that. Anyway, I'm still kind of on a high from the season finale of The Mandalorian, and I mean, it's caused me to think a little bit outside of the box about some of the things that I'm seeing on the show. And one of the characters that really captured my imagination on the show is Dr. Pershing. The clone engineer, the Camino clone engineer. I find him fascinating, and one of the reasons I find him fascinating is from something that was said in the season finale, and that was when they said that Dr. Pershing was an important target for the Republic. That made me go, I mean, right now we know that Dr. Pershing is working for the remnant of the Empire that's headed up by Moff Gideon. But what was he before that? That makes me go, what was he doing? Now, my guess is that he was working for Palpatine, creating clones of Palpatine. So that, that's exactly what happened too. When Darth Vader picked up Palpatine in Return of the Jedi and threw him over to the edge of that long drop, Palpatine transferred his essence from himself to a clone and continued to live on. Well, that's probably what Pershing was working on, but it also makes me wonder, because he is somebody that the Republic is also interested in, could it be that the Republic was looking to acquire his assistance in creating clones of their own? During the Old Republic, prior to the Empire, it didn't seem like the Republic had any kind of moral dilemma about creating clones. The Clone Wars was the result of that, right? So it's not like it doesn't appear to be a moral issue for any of these people to create clones. So it made me wonder, well, maybe the New Republic wants to make clones of some of the dead Jedi Masters, like Yoda or whoever, Because right now, Luke is out there by himself, for all they know. I'm not sure that the New Republic even knows that Ahsoka is alive, or that Grogu even exists, right? So maybe they're looking to kind of stack the deck a little bit by creating their own clone Jedi Masters. So maybe they thought, okay, let's do that. Let's hire somebody and let's make some clones of our own. I'm sure that they've got enough genetic material from bygone masters to clone them. Strand casting seems to be a thing too. I mean, the Mandalorian was suspecting maybe that even Grogu was a strand cast, right? So clearly that's a thing that is widely known enough that the Mandalorian would know about it, because the Mandalorian doesn't even seem to know what happened to frickin' Mandalore, So I don't think he gets out too much, but he seemed pretty oblivious to that, but he knows what the stranding is. So I found that to be kind of weird and interesting. Now, if you don't know what strand casting is, it's basically, it's kind of a term that I think we just heard in The Mandalorian, but it was alluded to in the movies, in the Clone Wars. And strand casting is basically a genetically bioengineered individual. I mean, we know that Snoke was a strand casting. We know this. We know that he was a strand casting created by Palpatine. But what genetic material was used to create Snoke? Now that is something that I always wondered about, ever since the movie. I kind of thought that maybe that they started with Darth Plagueis's genetic material and manipulated it from there, which we know they can do because Rey from The Force Awakens, her father was a strand cast of Palpatine, but he didn't look like Palpatine and he didn't have Palpatine's Force powers, and that's because they started with Palpatine's genetic material and then they genetically manipulated it from there to make him into being his own individual person. So he wasn't an identical clone of Palpatine. And of course, Palpatine didn't want to have anything to do with him, really, because he saw him as being kind of a lesser being, and he couldn't believe that this person who was created from his blood, from his genetic material, didn't have any Force powers. So he really didn't want to have anything to do with it. As soon as Rey was born, of course, then he wanted to have everything to do with that little family, because Rey was born with the Force powers, with tremendous Force powers, in fact. But one thing that bothers me about Plagueis possibly being a genetically connected to Snoke is that Snoke, we got some mixed information about Snoke, right? I mean, on one hand, we were told that he's over 200 years old, that he saw both the rise and the fall of the Galactic Empire, blah, blah, blah. But then we're also told that he was created by Palpatine. So I'm not sure how those things come together, but my only thought is that maybe when Palpatine created Snoke, that the essence of Plagueis entered into Snoke's body, and that might have even been done on purpose, because Snoke was created as kind of a weak and feeble being with a great Force power, okay? Kind of like Anakin, right? After Anakin was... So anyways, these are my questions and my thoughts for today. If you have any comments, please put them down below. And as always, may the Force be with you always.